What's up? I'm Tyler from Issues. I sing, and I am the frontman. It's been great. The dynamic of being a four-piece has obviously changed our live performance and furthermore, like our career a lot. Writing, it's always been kind of the four of us writing, or, just a couple of us together, but it definitely kind of lifted a lot of weight off our shoulders as far as the limitations of our writing, like things we can and can't do. When there was that fifth member that had like a certain role that you have to include in every song, but sometimes every song didn't call for screaming, so that made things a lot different and a lot more liberating for the style. But definitely live, like obviously, like there's a bit of a symmetry, that on stage, which makes things, easier in that sense. But just the chemistry the rest of us have, like with each other when we're performing, there's just like nobody's stepping on each other's lines or toes or whatever. I guess, if that makes sense. Everything's obviously just a free like performance, but yeah, I guess just the chemistry of it all, writing and performing. Yeah, I was working on some other projects, just helping some different artists like with their writing and producing. I helped. It's been a few years in the making, but I worked with a band called Chapel. I helped develop that band and manage the project for a while. There's also a new artist called Teddy Swims that I met along the journey of my solo record and helped him kind of curate his career, and now he's got like a nice career. He's doing covers on YouTube, but he's also having a lot of conversations with people at different companies about his like solo career, and that's been really promising for me because he's one of my best friends. So just like free time to work on other things I'm passionate about. I've been listening to a lot of Kim Petras and a lot of Georgia Smith. I'm a big fan of Frank Ocean. I listen to a lot of Sam Smith as well. So yeah, just a range of like, very emotional pop artists. People, just songs with substance, I guess you could say. I call it, pop, but just songs that, I don't know. I feel like there's like another level of like art to some of the artists I listen to. It's not just like your normal radio pop, but pop, yeah, like you said, with substance. Sky listens to a total range of everything from jazz and funk and like Motown to like black metal and grindcore and like just weird, just obscure like metal music. And Josh, he just likes pretty much anything with groove. Listens to a lot of really good hip hop, well produced records and stuff. So yeah. The last thing I listened to, I'm gonna guess that it was Issues because I was just showing somebody an example of something, but the last non-Issues thing I listened to today was Showbread, Mouth Like a Magazine. I was like having a throwback morning and I was listening to a lot. So Showbread, Mouth Like a Magazine, Justin Bieber, Journals. Looks like my fiance was on my account listening to Ryan Betty and Rico Nasty. Nothing I say about the writing process can sound not shady, but we just didn't, like, Michael wasn't always like fully involved in the writing. He had like a lot of ideas, but when it came to like the music and like the melodies and the lyrics and stuff, it really comes down to like me, Sky, and AJ a lot, and then obviously Josh has a lot of input on the drums and the beats, and we'll collaborate at certain levels in the writing process. We collaborate together, but a lot of this record was me just working with different writers and different producers to come up with the best songs and pour my heart into the best top lines, as we call it, and then kind of handing that over to Sky or AJ to like do what they want with it and turn it into like an Issues branded song. So I think that it was a lot more organized and things ran smoothly, and even though we did work a lot and we wrote over 40 songs, it wasn't easy by any means, but it was just smoother. it was more enjoyable and less, less butting heads, less chaotic. We kind of honed in what we were looking for, and even though at my stage in the writing process, writing all the songs, it was a range of styles and influences. Once it all kind of came together, we knew exactly what the sound was supposed to be in our heads, which is something you can't explain to anybody. You can't explain to a producer. It just really comes down to if people are like on the same wave. Yeah. He kind of really honed in what we wanted, like as far as like, having really technical riffs or having like these cool chord progressions and stuff. He understood it. Like he listened to our catalog before and he just got our band. Like he knew what we were and he wasn't trying to change it. He just wanted to make it better and help us evolve into like a more mature, just well-rounded version of Issues. And that's something a lot of producers don't get. Because, a lot of producers have their signature sound or their signature, direction of helping a band curate like a new sound.
Right.
And we didn't need a new sound. We just needed to perfect our sound. And I think he just totally was on point with that. He said from the beginning we needed better songs. Like he listened to the songs and he was like, these are good, these are catchy, but they could be better. And he was the one that really pushed us to write, 40. So I think we might have gotten a little carried away, but like, most bands will write 10 songs for a 10-song album and just perfect those songs. But he was like, like in the real world of writing and getting the best of your abilities, you have to write 40 songs to pick the best 10 so you know that you don't strike out and that you write great songs that people, one, can relate to, and two, want to replay and sing over and over and over. So he just understands that, and I think that was like the best move for us at the time, because we probably would have just written 12 songs and put 12 songs out, but he really knew what the band needed, and we're really thankful for that. I'll say proud, but just because the most vulnerable song is probably Your Sake. Also, Beautiful Oblivion was a song I wrote like in 2016, and I kept putting it in the running. I kept putting it in the pot. I brought it up on Headspace too, but it just like didn't really speak to anybody at the time. But I think when Howard told us we need more songs that are honest, Headspace had a lot of like cool, catchy songs, but Headspace was more about the musicianship. But Self-Titled had a lot of songs people like really could, that were captivating and like emotional and made people feel something, and that's something we were lacking. And I think when Howard brought that up, I immediately thought of Beautiful Oblivion again, which we just called Rhythm, at the time. But this time when I played it for everybody, it meant something different than in the past years when I played it for people. So those are two songs I'm really proud of. Sky wrote Fine Forever, and that's probably my favorite song on the record. And the fact that I didn't write it, that Sky wrote it, so it gave me more freedom to just perform it and give my, take on like the character and the delivery, because I wasn't constantly thinking of like criticizing my own work. You know what I mean? Yeah. When we were talking about the name, like having a name for the record, and we, we had a bunch of different concepts, but then we kind of were like going through the lyrics, and we were like, you know what? This is when we came up with the titles for the songs. It was like, this song title would make a great album title. And then at that point, we didn't want to change the name of the song, so we just decided to make it a title track, which honestly kind of wrapped up the whole concept of the record and how we wanted Beautiful Oblivion to be like this digital escape and this therapeutic record for people in pain or in recovery or, just whatever, like whatever you're going through, good or bad, positive, negative, whatever. Like we thought it really like portrayed everything. It started we had a lot of different submissions for covers and we had a lot of different ideas. But yeah, A Mouth Shut, this guy Bailey that I followed on Instagram does like a lot of animations and like 3D rendering art and stuff, but it's just really like out of the box. And I just talked to him through Instagram and I was like, yo, I love your work, and kind of gave him the title and like the idea and like what the song meant and what the album was about, and that was just kind of what he came up with, and I was really in love with it, like right off the bat. I was like, this is perfect. I really didn't have any notes. The band really loved it. We made the single artwork kind of based off of that character, and the only notes was that Sky wanted the oh, you're wearing it right now. Sky wanted the person to be like racially and gender, ambiguous. Yeah, so obviously I think most people just assume it's just like a white girl, but we tried to make it, no breasts and kind of if you look at like the single art, some could assume that maybe it's like a mixed like Asian American or something, but we tried our best to just keep it kind of neutral and everything. But the real ticket is like the hands and the grass and the birds, the growing. It's kind of like a Narnia, but it just kind of paints the picture of like an oblivion, and the hands representing kind of just like, the hands could be like the world, or like specifically what people are going through, and not letting that like define you or hold you back from finding your peace and finding your cloud nine, which was the main tag in that song. It's like, I think I found my cloud nine, and then the representation of that is hoping that by the time you listen to the whole record that you'll have let up like the weight of whatever's affecting you, and that you'll have, by the end of the record you'll have found like this cloud nine, and that you feel better. And anytime you feel like that, maybe you can listen to this record and think about how it helped you and stuff. A lot of people always tell us like, oh, like, you saved my life, or like you've really done this for me. And we wanted Beautiful Oblivion to finally just, I guess, tell people that no, like our music helped you. Like, it's way too much pressure and way too much responsibility for us as people, because we just want you to get that solace from our art and our work, but not us as people. And I think that kind of concept with the album may have helped people understand that better. Yeah.
Totally.
I mean, things always grow and start to work over time. I mean, if you think about our first self-titled record in 2014, we had like a ton of mixed reviews, but mostly bad, reviews, bad critics. But, fast forward a few years later, when we started putting out new songs, people were like, self-titled was better.
Right.
I love self-titled. You'll never top self-titled. But then it's like now people are like, Headspace was your best record. Like, you can't top Headspace. So it's just like, as long as they're talking about it and we're in people's minds and people are actually giving it a chance, we know it's going to grow on people, because it's the same thing that's happened on every record. People just don't know how to dissect change. People don't know how to accept change. Change is just scary for people, and you get so attached and so in love with one thing. And when an artist does something, like when they try to just be creative and think outside the box and do something different, it freaks people out, because they're like, but I love this about you. But eventually you learn to like adapt to this new version of us, and then that's what you love. And so the next time we do something even different, you'll probably have something to say about that. But as long as we personally think that we're continuing to outshine our last body of work, I think that's the goal as an artist. So just make sure you keep exceeding like the bar that you've set for each piece of work you've done. Yeah, I know some of the songs came out, people were like, this is different, this is weird, but it's catchy. It is heavy, but it's a new kind of heavy people aren't used to. And then obviously Flexing came out. We knew that would be polarizing. Right, and it's a lot of people's favorite. It's either your least favorite or it's your favorite. It's not like untalked about, and that was the goal, is we knew it would be polarizing, but we wanted to just make people talk. And also, we just fucking love that song because it's sick. It's major Prince vibes, yeah. The song is just about being broke and like, but still wanting to ball out, which is something I think a lot of people relate to, because you just want to have fun, and it's just like, fuck, money sucks, But the video, like, if there's a message to the video, it's just about like, don't wait to live your life and have fun and be your authentic self. You know what I mean? Like, do it now, but at least also like better late than never. There's never a perfect time to just think about who you want to be and what you want to do and how to have fun.